Hello and welcome again to the Brompton Spotter. So I was up in Scotland on business and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'll take the G Line with me and find somewhere peaceful to ride. Which doesn't really explain why I lighted on the UK's largest onshore wind farm as a location. Because guess what? Turns out wind farms are a bit windy. Still, I like pissing off Donald Trump as much as the next man, so decision made. Donald Quixote has lately been doing much tilting at windmills, obviously without knowing the meaning of the word mill. Anyway, here we are at Whiteley Wind Farm, about 10 miles south of Glasgow. The farm has been operating since 2008 and features 215 turbines, each of them delivering an average of 2.5 megawatts. The 539 megawatts of installed capacity at Whiteley can supply annual power for more than 350,000 homes. Though obviously that figure drops off a bit if some random granny in Kirkcudbright forgets to turn off their immersion heater. The site has become a popular ecotourism destination. Is that a thing? And has an impressive network of gravel tracks. These, I reasoned, would be the perfect place to test the limits of my body, my sanity, and the Brompton's build quality. Spoiler alert, only one of those three passed the test. Measured at the highest point of the blades, these turbines are around 110 metres tall, and passing underneath one while attached to a small bicycle is, let's say, an interesting experience. You just have to take it on trust that the designers have got their sums right, and there's only a slight chance of decapitation. It all feels rather like cycling through the set of a very low-budget sci-fi film. The turbines and trails coil around Loch Goyne. That name is presumably derived from the saying, "Sod this, I'm going back to the car." It's a modest wee puddle compared with most Scottish rivals, but it does lend the location some extra charm. Now, my plan had been to cycle all the way around the loch. Unfortunately, my bottom had other ideas. Well, somewhere very close to my bottom. Let's not go there. Bottom line, was that I was a very sore boy and worried about finding myself on the other side of the loch and unable to walk 6 miles back, let alone ride it. Anyway, predictably the G Line gave a far better account of itself than its rider. It eats up terrain you wouldn't touch on an OG Brompton, though you do feel the extra weight on climbs. I don't often have to get off and push, but I did on a couple of occasions here. But maybe that was just my crotch's self-preservation instincts kicking in. So I headed back, but I did take the opportunity to conduct a little test on the way. Remember this? Now, I'm pretty sure that this extension rod mount was at least partly to blame for that, along with my own ineptness, of course. As the G Line is a more stable proposition altogether, I decided to see whether using this extension on it was more doable in these circumstances. Answer? Yes. But the camera attached to the end still bounces rather alarmingly. I think I'll stick with it on the handlebars. Anyway, that was Whiteley Wind Farm, proof that you can mix scenic beauty, renewable energy and cardiovascular trauma all in one ride. Despite this, I decided that I like wind farms. Are they a perfect solution? Nope. But if we're going to keep boiling kettles, streaming cat videos and charging Deliveroo e-bikes, then we're going to need energy that doesn't come with a side order of Armageddon. If you enjoyed this ride and want to see more underwhelming adventures involving questionable decisions, then give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you're desperate.